finance and football. It's a perfect match. Let's have a look at the financial information of Real Madrid. First, some basics. A balance sheet is a document telling you two things. On one side, where did the money come from? On the other side, where did the money go to? Of course, the money that you spent should be the same as the money that you got from your investors. That's why the total right side is always the same as the total of the left side, and that's why we call it a balance sheet. This logic is the same all over the world. Now, the terminology may be different. In most European languages, in Dutch, in French, in Polish, in Portuguese, in Spanish, we talk about passiva when we talk about where did the money come from, and we talk about activa, where did the money go to. In English, where did the money go to? The assets, the activa, are the assets. Yeah. The other side, the passiva, in English we usually talk about equity and liabilities. Now, never mind the terminology. If you want to understand a balance sheet, the first thing you have to look for is two numbers which are the same. Let's have a look at Real Madrid. A football team can be seen as a factory. A factory has machines, a football team has players. Now, where do we see that on the balance sheet? On the balance sheet we have something called non-current assets. Assets tell you where did the money go. Well, we talk about non-current assets if we have invested money in something that we plan to use more than 1 year. In a factory, a machine is a non-current asset because you plan to use a machine more than 1 year. By the way, non-current assets in many companies today is called capex, or capitalized expense, or capital expenditure. Maybe you've heard of that. Now, in a football team, the players are capex because you plan to use the players more than 1 year. Where do we see that on the balance sheet? Okay, sports intangible assets show you a number of about 366 million euro. Now, I guess you're thinking, well, Real Madrid must have paid a lot more for these players. Yes, they have. But just like a machine in a factory, a player is being depreciated or is being amortized. In the annexes of the annual report, we can see how this is done. Now, maybe you want to know more than the book value of the players. You want to know the amount really invested. Also, that is in the annexes of the annual report. By the way, did you know that Real Madrid also has a basketball team? And you'll see those players are a lot cheaper than the football players. Let's go back to the balance sheet. The right side is telling you how Real Madrid is financed. Now, there's lots of ways to finance a company, but we're going to focus on one. It's possible that a company is being financed by the profit that it has made in the past. And here we're going to focus on the profit that was made last year. let's have a look at the P&L. We already know the bottom line, about 21 million. Now, where is this money coming from? Well, let's start with the top line, the revenue. And you will see that the most important revenue of Real Madrid is marketing. I guess you know what the biggest cost is in a football team. Well, of course, these are the players. Now let's go back to the factory. We were looking at the machines. So the transfer rights paid for the players are like the machines. You pay them once and you hope to use them many years. They are being depreciated during the lifetime of the contract. Now, a player also, of course, receives a salary every month. That salary is booked in the P&L as opex, operating expenses. So the transfer rights are capex. You plan to use that more than 1 year. The salaries, of course, are opex. These are only useful to the company less than 1 year. Why? Well, let's say Ronaldo gets a salary. For that salary, he will play football for 1 month. But if next month he doesn't get a salary, I guess he won't be playing much longer. So a salary paid every month is an operating expense. It's useful to the company less than 1 year. Let's have a look. Another interesting line in the P&L is the gains or losses on the disposal of non-current assets. What are we talking about? Of course, a football team is also making a lot of money on the fact that they are buying and selling players. So if they make money on selling players, you will see that on that line in the P&L. This is it. I hope you liked my story.